Thank you to the Patreon supporters of the What We Remember podcast, September 2021. Adam S., Sarah P., a.k.a. Situational Daddy on Instagram, Elio, Paul and Sandy J., Nathan E., Jacqueline M., Matthew J., and Big Time Jim. Help support our show by going to patreon.com/whatweremember and pledging a monthly amount. Thanks.
Oh, we already started recording?
Yeah, the audience is no idea what movie we're doing.
Yeah, they don't look at the titles, they just hit play.
Yeah.
My microphone wasn't even near my face.
So, you weren't talking? At the time? And that's all part of the intro, baby. We're doing it with the intro. The intro.
Now we're stuck in this intro, Andy.
Now we're
committed us to this.
We're an infinite intro loop now.
We'll intro at some point.
No.
What?
We're already doing it.
This is it?
We get the one intro chance and you blew it.
You can't start something that's already going. If you're driving your car, you can't turn it on.
That's just a fact. It's just a fact.
I think that's true.
How can it not be? If you're riding a horse, you can't ride it more.
That checks out.
They can ride it again.
There's only one level
you're
of
already
horse
on
riding.
a horse.
Your first analogy was good. Your second one
When
started
you're
to
chewing
fall
bubble
apart.
gum, you could chew more, I guess. You could chew more, but that's a bad analogy too. You're right. I should have just.
You got one. And
Yeah, I got one, and I should have stopped.
You flew too close to the bath water.
What? That doesn't make sense. That's the baby in the bathwater thing you're trying to make
what
an
are you
analogy
talking
for.
about?
I don't know.
Actually, welcome back to the Mixed Metaphors podcast.
I don't know.
It's clear. It's pretty clear.
My name is Bradley Jones.
I'm Andrew Moldenhauer.
And I'm Andy Hubert.
And this is not a movie review podcast, but it's a podcast where we try to remember a movie that we haven't seen in a very, very long time. And this is what we remember about Crank.
Were there 2 or 3 bad guys in Home Alone? And who was that forgetful fish in Finding Nemo? Join us as we're watching films. See what we remember and what memories we kill. Let's start the show. Here we go. This is what we remember.
Christmas with the Cranks, right?
Yeah.
No. I feel like I saw this in the theater.
I didn't see this in the theater.
Did you
I
see
think
it?
we saw this in the
I
theater.
think we saw this in the theater.
People said this movie was crappy, so I didn't see it
This
until it was
movie's
like
Crappy?
DVD.
It's not crappy.
Well,
Who said it's crappy?
I think a lot of people say it's crappy, but
Who?
People who don't get fine cinema.
I will find them, and I will tell them how crappy they aren't.
It's amazing.
This movie's
It's a good film. Who's in it,
I mean,
though?
it's shot on
Yes.
Best Buy cameras.
Yeah.
It's just like high 8 cassette
Also,
cameras.
people on rollerblades, like running around and stuff.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like just people driving in car shots.
I would guess a lot of GoPros were like put in weird places too, right?
I was thinking. Actually, it's funny you mentioned
This is a
this.
little bit before
when I was
GoPro,
when I was thinking
maybe.
about this film ahead of time. I was thinking also of I don't know if any of you guys watched what was it, Action Henry or
Yeah.
It's called
That sounds right.
yeah, no, something
I think
else.
that's it.
Something Henry, like Rampage Henry or something
Henry,
like
yeah.
that.
Which was all GoPro first person movie, and I
Yeah.
assumed it was going to be garbage. I remember when that came out, and I was like, I'm not seeing that in theaters. And I finally watched it like a year ago, and I was like, I'm sad I missed this. This movie's actually really amazing.
Yeah, that was based off like
thought
a
it was
music
good.
video
Yeah.
that they turned into that movie.
It's
right?
so good.
I couldn't watch the whole thing, but I thought it was pretty fun overall. It was
Hardcore Henry.
Hardcore
That's
Henry,
it.
that's the one. Man,
Duh,
that movie's crazy,
alliteration.
and this reminds me a lot of that, where it feels very one camera. It's not, but you're right. And it also feels like it's like a $50 million
guerrilla
movie, but shot on like a $10,000 budget in a way.
Big actors,
It
big
is.
set pieces, a lot of
But
explosions.
it's shot like in a guerrilla style for sure.
Yes, and with the premise of the movie, I mean, this is a movie where it starts and does not stop. It goes the whole time, and
Yeah.
it just
cranks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now the people that directed it's a co-director,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Two guys directed it.
I don't know if they're brothers or friends or what, but yeah.
I don't know either. And they also directed the sequel.
Yep. They also directed the Ghost Rider sequel, which we don't talk about.
Don't talk about that.
I didn't even remember that it got a sequel. So there you go.
But Jason Statham's in this
Here
movie.
you go.
There you go.
Talking about people in the film.
Is Amy Smart in this one?
Yes.
As well?
She's in both.
She's
Yep.
in both?
That's the
Okay.
wife.
Can you get any more?
Girlfriend.
You're right.
Is Michael Pena in this? I feel like
Is
he'd
the
be in it.
doctor Edward James Olmos, or is it a guy who looks like Edward James Olmos?
Definitely Dwight Yoakam's in this movie.
Is that the
really?
doctor?
Or he might be in the second one, but I think he's Dwight Yoakam's.
he's in both of them.
This is going to be a challenge.
Yeah.
I think separating the two movies is going to be.
Did you think I would get Dwight Yoakam?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Hey, joke him if you got him.
Oh, that's a good Brad joke.
And then the guy from It's Always Sunny, whose name I can never remember. The one who was
Danny DeVito.
Robert Malconeni or Danny DeVito.
Robert.
The guy who plays the brother.
Oh, Dennis.
The guy who plays that guy. He's in this movie. He plays the doctor.
Oh yeah, what is his name?
I have no idea. I'm sure there's a lot of other people in this film too.
I think there's cameos. There's probably what's his name?
I know Corey Haim's in the sequel.
Oh God, I'm blanking on his name. Cheech and Chong.
Oh yeah, Cheech Andrew Chong, Tommy Chong, or
Not Tommy
Cheech
Chong,
Marin.
but Cheech Marin's probably in this.
It sounds plausible.
Ken Jeong is probably in this.
So I am going to get this confused with the sequel. Can you give me the basic start of this film? Is this the one where he gets his heart switched out, or is that the second one?
No, I think that's this one.
This one, yeah. So it's. I think the
God.
same thing happened.
It is kind of the same thing. In both
This
of
is
them.
what we remember.
So the premise of this one is that he needs constantly needs adrenaline to keep his heart going.
Okay.
The
Yeah.
sequel
Second
is that
one's
he constantly
high
needs
voltage.
electricity to keep his heart
I
Yes.
think high voltage.
going. Very distinct films, Brad.
They're nuanced.
Oh,
I think. So he needs.
Chev Chelios.
Chev Chelios. That's his name.
Great! He's my favorite hockey
great
player.
Yeah, he's great. Red Wings.
Chelios.
Does he owe money to like a Yakuza or something? Some evil gang or whatever.
Well, I think they drug him with some kind of thing that's gonna ruin his heart or kill his heart or something like that. That's why he keeps shocking his.
I think it's like, well, they do drug him. I think the movie starts where he wakes up and basically they explain that they removed whatever it is that creates adrenaline for you. Like they're like, yep, we stole your organ and it's ours now.
And you have to do these.
Right.
Does he have to do something
So like,
in
we
order to
hooked
get
you.
it back?
They're like, well, we hooked you up to this like pump that has some adrenaline in it, so you have like an hour, and then you're out of adrenaline. You're probably gonna die. And
these were
it's-
people that were gonna they were trying to do like some kind of revenge.
I think so, and I think it might be that he owes
they
the
wanted
money, and so
to
this
do
is like their way of
tasks or
collecting
something.
or something.
Yeah.
But
I think they wanted to kill somebody or get something for them, or like it's
And then
basically
they
like
would
putting
give
him on a
him-
timer.
maybe
that
this is like
organ
the way
back.
of forcing him to do this.
forcing him to be their
Interesting.
their patsy.
What is it? The Mexican cartel or is it?
I'm not sure.
Because one of them is one of the movies like Mexican, one's Asian.
Well, because he seeks. I think he like asked for help from one to fight the other one at some point
Like
too.
Yojimbo.
Because but that might be number two.
Pedro is in this.
Oh yeah,
Remember him, Pedro?
He has
a
hot pants on.
Yeah, because he's like a cross-dresser and so he's a big part of this movie.
Yeah, in the series.
I just remembered that.
Well done.
Because the end is like they're on a building. I think they're. They go to fight. Oh, I think you're right. I think they go fight a Yakuza style gang, and he enlists, like a Hispanic gang or something to help him.
I don't know how that works. So.
Yeah.
But I know he has to go through like a bunch of tasks, or goes to a bunch of different places.
Yeah.
To like find information about somebody or something. And he has
yeah.
clues he's trying to put together.
Oh yeah, maybe who's behind it or what he has to accomplish.
Because he's trying to get his like whatever organ back.
Yes,
Yeah.
they have it. He's trying to get
Like, we have your gallbladder, and he's like, you don't realize I didn't need that.
It's a different movie. I don't know if that would be as good.
It's like,
He just has to pee a lot during
I
that
didn't really
film.
need it.
It's just, I can't digest food as
It was
well as I used
inflamed
to.
anyway. Thank you.
Because I think I think in number 2 they like straight up have removed his heart.
Yeah. They replaced it with like a plastic
box,
heart.
Yeah, the box that is replacing his heart has to keep getting recharged. That's why he needs the high voltage.
But he's on a pacemaker, I think, right?
Basically.
Yeah.
A couple of different things that he does in
It's
there.
like
He shocks
it's
himself
kind
a
of
lot.
It's amazing.
And in this movie, his adrenaline rushes is basically just always has to keep running. He like always has to be
Keeps
actively
running,
doing something.
insane.
He's doing like push-ups and stuff.
fighting people, banging his girlfriend.
Doing bing bonging on a bus.
Yeah. in front of a crowd of people.
Yeah. The first one is like, it's fun and everything, but the second one gets silly, right?
The second one's ridiculous. Yeah. There's like a kaiju fight.
The second one takes the first one, and like the whole point of the second one was how do we top the first one and just like keep going.
The second one is so
crazier
good.
And crazier.
It is so good. They have like video game sound effects when like they're having sex on the horse track.
Yeah. It's a wholly different
I forgot about that, and it's like the horse.
So is this what we know about Crank 1 and 2? We're going to have to do both films?
The problem is they're so similar in many ways.
And two takes place like immediately after
does.
one, so it is sort of like one giant
It's just a
movie.
continuation.
Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2?
Yeah, basically. Oh man, I can't wait to watch.
It really is
so
like
good.
a part 1 and part 2 in a way.
Yeah.
They're just like, let's redo what we did because it worked. Just make it like crazier.
So is he just like a dude, or does he like have like fighting skills, or is he just like a regular guy? I know he's like
No, I think he's
ripped
like-
because he's Jason Statham.
I thought he was like connected to actual like crime.
Yeah, I thought he'd be like an enforcer.
He's he's like a bad guy who's fighting bad guys.
Maybe.
Yeah, because he has that kind of like don't give a shit type.
Well, and like I
attitude.
think that's one of the things that like the reason, like I think his girlfriend had dumped him too, because like
Amy
he
Smart.
shows back up and she's like, I thought I told you to finally get out of here because I'm sick of your bad guy stuff. And then he's like, we're gonna do it on a bus. She's like, I'm in.
He's trying to
Like, I'm a bad
reconcile his
girl.
relationship with her, but it's like not working out.
Yeah.
He's just a bad guy too. It's not a good relationship for anyone to be in.
Distinctively, he's constantly getting phone calls that give him another piece of information that he needs to get to the next thing.
As we
Wait,
learned
what's the phone call ring?
in Mortal Kombat, we learned
Call my phone, you'll find out.
Is it that one? Like,
Yeah. Brad played a clip of it in Mortal Kombat, our episode. Go back and listen
you
to
don't
that
listen
one.
to our show, so. There's
Let's
music
try-
in this
let's-
movie that's like old timey. Isn't that like a gimmick that they use like out of place sound effects and music and things?
Yeah, I can't really remember. I feel like they may do some sound effects, but they really just play it up more in the second one.
I bet it's poison. I bet it's not.
You think
That
it's
girl is poison.
That blocks his adrenaline. That's why he has to keep getting.
I bet you're right, and he has to get an antidote.
He has to get. That's why he.
See,
has,
I did say they were poison. He
You're right.
poisoned him, right?
Yeah. And you were
Okay,
like to convince him to do this. So they're like, yeah, if you do these things for us, we'll give you the antidote.
Because
to
girl,
survive.
you're poison.
That girl is poison. That crank is.
And that's why he goes to the doctor trying to look for like more adrenaline
Yeah, he
or
steals some
trying to
adrenaline
help.
shots. Yeah.
He's trying to get his next fix.
Is it Dwight Yoakam or is it?
Dwight Yoakam is like his therapist or his like counsel or his like parole officer. Like he's like one of
all
those three
three.
things. Or maybe his lawyer. Maybe it's all of those
There
things.
you go.
Yeah, he's multi-talented.
Yeah.
He's doing a lot of help for Chev and trying to get him to stay
Ooh,
alive.
Glenn Howerton.
Glenn Howard.
That's Dennison.
You
That's
did
the guy.
it.
There you go.
Charlie Dade
You
that
got
one.
there.
Yeah. Okay, let's.
There's a bar fight scene.
There's
Maybe
there's
that's
a
in the
strip
second
club
one.
fight scene.
Could be in the second one.
I'm trying to think of this, and I'm like, I genuinely can't remember what happens until the
There's
climactic
also-
Street fights with like people on motorcycles.
There's also like an Asian woman actress.
She's in the second one also. Is she also in the first one?
She might be in the first one as
yeah,
well.
because that's
Bing something. Lee Bing. Well, I forget her name.
I don't know her name, and I don't know what she was from, other than just knowing her from this.
yeah.
Yeah, she is an actress in a bunch of stuff,
Yes.
especially around this time. She was in Entourage and Lost.
Oh, okay.
I think she's in Push, the excellent Chris Evans movie that no one remembers.
You and I are the only ones who
Sapphire?
know that movie exists.
Yeah. I love that movie. Underrated.
Pushed by Sapphire.
Bei Ling, something like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
I forget her name.
Is it really just a lot of him, just like scenes of him killing
him just-
people?
Does he
and
use
getting in a
guns
fight?
or knives or
Him
like what
running
is
a lot. I
does he
think
have
it's
weapons
all
of choice?
improvised. He has like nothing, and so
Uh-huh.
he
He just
keeps
Jackie Chan's
busting into a
everything?
place, and kind of Jackie Channing and just winging it.
I'm sure he gets hurt a lot though.
Oh
right?
yeah,
Oh yeah.
he's got to get wrecked a whole bunch. I think in number 2 they take it even further, where like he is getting like breaking a limb, and then just like tapes it together with some sticks and just keeps
Oh,
going
yeah.
and
I
stuff.
think
They
there's a
get
moment like
even
that.
crazier in the second one.
Yeah, there's
with
probably a
that
moment
kind of
like that
stuff.
where like pours like booze or something on a gunshot wound,
Right.
and, like, wraps it up or whatever.
Yep, yeah, because I mean, in the sense of like 24, it's like there's no time to heal in this one. The movie takes place over the course of like an hour.
I'm always trying to think of like a ridiculous thing where he's got shot, but there's like a kid playing like Operation at a table somewhere, so he has the kid come take the bullet out. Like that.
So they just staples
like
shut.
There's
He's
always
like,
like
"Got it."
moments like that.
Oh, it's
like,
gotta be, right?
Yeah, it's like ridiculous,
Oh, I
like
can't wait.
uncomfortable things happening.
Yeah.
I could picture that scene happening.
I don't think that happens, but like things like that happen.
Yeah.
Again, might be thinking about the second one, but
boy.
there's like a time where he like opens up like a power that like there's like
That's the second one because he's got voltage, high voltage.
So I
cranks it up.
remember
remember more of the
watching a
second one.
behind the scenes shot where they actually had him do that, and it looked dangerous.
Have him on the rope rig and just yank him when he grabs it.
I think I don't know. I don't know how that
man.
played
That
out.
sounds.
There
I
were
can't.
sparks and everything.
I'm for
It
sure
was
watching
all
both
over.
of them after that.
I'm sure Jason does all
I'm gonna
of
watch
his
both
own
of them
stunts.
too.
Maybe a few he doesn't do, but you know,
Yeah.
he seems like that kind of guy who's like, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
Take a hike, other me. I'm jumping down this rabbit train.
Right.
That said, rabbit hole. And
Oh my god.
Next to
I'm
Metaphors
just thinking of all the
Yeah, it sure is.
second ones.
so we have to do Crank 1 and 2. I think
Yeah,
that's what
we
we've
got it.
decided.
We
yeah,
have
because
to.
there's like a
Is
time
this-
where he puts like a car battery.
This is
like,
the first
on his
ever
tongue, and then it's like
multi-movie What We Remember episode. It's happening.
1 and 2.
Yeah, it has to
Yeah,
happen.
it has to. They're too similar.
Oh,
All right, let's keep going with 1, and then we'll get into 2.
Yeah, I guess so. Because we've dabbled into 2 so many times.
Yeah.
Can we just end 1? 'Cause
We
all I
could.
really have is the
Well,
ending.
no, I do know the actual ending is he falls from a plane
Yeah,
Helicopter, yeah.
onto the concrete floor.
Oh, maybe it is a plane.
onto the concrete.
Pretty sure
yeah.
it is a helicopter.
And he bounces
but-
over.
Oh,
Because they fight on top. They go to the Asian bad dude's place.
There's a
all the way
huge
to the
Okay,
fight
Asian
scene
guy.
in like
There's the crazy
a
fight
mansion.
scene. Like this dude
Who's
has
the guy
like,
in the head? The head in the jar. There's a
I think there is a head
there is a head in a jar.
Oh my
that sounds like a He-Man character.
I thought
forgot
that was
about
from the
this.
second one, but that may be at the end of this
Oh,
one
man.
because there's a whole pool. So
Yeah,
I think
bunch
there's
of
a
baby
scene
machine guns and
with
machetes
a
and
pool at the end. This may be the second one.
no, it's the
throws it
fight
in
scene
there.
at the end of this
There's
one.
a fight scene at the pool
Yeah.
at somebody's house, and then there's a guy who's just a disembodied head, like it's like Futurama.
He's like,
Mm-hmm.
get him.
He's got like an old-timey speaker in front of his
yeah, I think
his
so.
thing, yeah.
I think
That's
you're
cool.
right.
And he's like the main
Classic.
boss or something, like
Yeah.
which is crazy, and it's
I'm the brain, man.
I just remember like
there
one of
needs to be
the
more movies like this.
like one of the weird like
They were in the
the,
80s. They just weren't as spectacular.
the decor of this penthouse place is really weird. Like there's just like naked ladies in like bubbles. And they're just
Yeah.
like posing, and like because when they have the gunfight, like the other gang shows up, and the two start fighting on the roof. Like a bunch of the girls in bubbles just get like smoked.
Oh no.
This is basically a video game.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's schlock. Also,
It's
just
meant to
schlock
be
and
What do
yeah.
you mean? What's
It's just like lowest common denominator action,
like
comedy,
most ridiculous, unbelievable,
most over the
stuff
top,
to do.
over
Yeah.
the top stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't need to make sense. Just needs to be cool.
Yeah.
Sure.
The story doesn't matter.
Yes.
We just need to see Jason Statham doing cool stuff and fighting people and getting beaten up and blood like spurting at the camera or like ridiculous visual effects.
They're giving people exactly what they want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you don't always want like a story and everything. Sometimes you just want to be
Oh, yeah.
entertained, and that's okay.
Yep.
And this movie is freaking entertaining.
Yep. You need those movies where you can just turn your brain off and just have like a fun, just watching something visually insane happen.
But there are people that don't like that. They are
Yeah.
out there.
Those people are wound up a little too tight.
Have
Look
some
at
fun.
you.
Let
Ralph.
yourself have some fun. God damn it, Ralph.
Ralph, who's
Loosen up.
44.
Stop taking that tie
Stop
down. Writing us about this.
There's gonna be one Ralph out there who's 44. Who's like, me? Oh God! It's
You like stood up in
man.
his chair just now.
like I am a little wound up.
But you're right. He chases the bad guy like into a helicopter. They take off from the building and they're
Yeah.
fighting on it. And
He
then they
must smash the head of
yes,
that
he smashes the head of the guy.
and probably puts it into a
Goes
fish
in the
tank.
or in the pool. I think you said yeah.
Into the pool, yeah.
They're fighting on the helicopter, and then they both fall out of the helicopter, and you're
And
like,
they keep
oh,
fighting,
shit, it's
right?
like- and they just keep,
keep
fighting
fighting
in
in the
midair.
blue
Like that
screen.
fight continues until they hit the ground.
What are you gonna do?
And
Well,
they cut
but
to
he
black.
does hit the ground, and you see his head hit the ground,
Yes.
and he looks dead.
Yeah.
and does
and-
it cut to
and-
black, and then it comes back, I think, for a second, and he blinks
Yeah.
right at the end, like it's like a stinger
yeah.
right at the end.
Yep.
And that's when you know Crank 2's coming.
In Crank 2, High Voltage. Here we go. How does this movie start? Right from here.
I'm pretty sure it starts.
But they drag him away in like a
It's actually
hospital
he
cart
like
or
wakes
a
up
thing.
on the street.
They literally steal his heart.
But yeah, then he blacks out again, and he wakes up, and they've stolen his heart. They fixed a bunch of his bones because he just broke everything in his body, basically.
They repair him and
fixed-
get him set up for Crank 2. Yeah.
This guy would have been, if he fell that high onto concrete, he would have been a.
Are you
bowl of
questioning
soup.
the reality of this?
He would have been a
movie?
bowl of
It's a
soup.
Wile E.
The
Coyote
realism
moment,
of
you know,
this
where he keeps
movie.
coming
How
back.
dare you, sir?
Right. It gets wilder in
Yeah.
this one.
And this is where he has to keep electrocuting himself to stay alive.
He keeps checking his little
Yeah.
pack and
Yeah.
his little battery marker on it. He's like, "Oh, it's too low!" Ah! Grabs the other.
And he's also trying to
Which is
figure out
a great
who
visual
stole his
reminder
heart.
of his life, and death.
Yeah,
Like it's a good reminder, for
Keeps
the
running
audience.
This is where he has a bunch of weird interactions with the girl, the we can't remember who they fight and tear it up on the street, and she keeps antagonizing him and follows him around.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a girl that falls.
That's the girl that we couldn't remember her name.
Yep.
Bailing or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then Corey Haim is a drug addict guy
Haim.
who's on the street.
Wait, Corey Haim is in
and
this?
he's got a big poofy,
this one I think too
lion's
has
mane
a lot
hair.
more cameos than the first one
Yeah.
because this one was everyone was Crank
knew.
was
Come on,
hilarious.
play with us
I
for
want to
Crank
be
too.
in number 2
Yeah.
for no reason. Just make me the quickest little bit on the side. I'll play homeless man number 4.
Yep.
Just yell at Chev Chelios or whatever, and
Well, you're right about
Yeah,
things
there's
sort of-
porn stars in this one.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think Jenna Jameson's in it, and
Sure.
I don't know.
I think because at
Now
one point
he's
he
gonna be
does
into the schlock.
Yeah, he does
What's
bust
that?
into a
And all
brothel
that-
at some
all those
point to get him more information, and it's just man, I can't wait to watch this.
Yeah, there's a sequence where it's a bunch of porn stars that are vegans protesting or something. They got actual
The only thing you should eat is
I think that's what one of the signs said.
Oh man, we gotta get to the.
I don't know, but that
we do have to get to the horse track.
Yeah, there's a big horse race where Chev is following a guy, or he's at a lead, but Amy Smart is also there. I think she's with
confronts her again.
She's with a villain of some kind or some other rich
I think you might be
hoity-toity
right.
guy. But yeah, in order to keep him electrically charged, they
have to rub their bodies
Yeah.
together for the
create static electricity.
Yeah,
and Amy Smart gets way too into it. It's I know what you
Oh,
need.
yeah.
And then there's there's noises, and there's
Oh,
old
yeah.
lady in the stands
there's a clip of
gasping.
a horse mounting ananother horse,
Yeah.
and yeah,
It's just
And it's probably shot in high speed too.
it's got it. High contrast, high speed.
yeah.
It's sports.
It's
action.
outrageous. They just try to top every scene from the first one in a way for the next one. If they're going to do another Crank, he's got to be in the middle of, I don't know, the presidential address or something. Something
Right?
ridiculous.
He's just busted, breaks into the White
should
House.
make
They
a
have sex on the desk in the Oval
Right
Office.
on top of
the president.
president who's passed out.
Who's Abraham Lincoln?
Yeah. And there's
Abraham Lincoln's head
there's
in
a
the jar.
Tyrannosaurus Rex in the background.
Right.
Yeah, there you
Right,
go.
smoking a cigar.
I love it.
So there's another
We
fight.
should write that one.
We could.
Yeah,
We already started.
Crank 3. The fight scene that I was bringing up, where he's encountering somebody in an elevator, and they just cut to Looney Tunes, Goofy, he has a monster head, and the other guy has I think he's not even tripping on drugs or something like that to justify what you're seeing.
Yeah, I think he took some
Yes.
drugs and then they turned it into a big Godzilla type.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they fight over a
Kinda-
big city, punching each other.
Yeah, they're over power lines and
yeah.
stuff.
Oh,
There's a lot of
man.
sparking. That was one of my favorite sequences of both movies. I just love how they just went for it.
They just
you
big
see them
swings.
they grow jung 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 jung, and they're
Yeah.
these giant robot people that are clearly in costumes and in miniatures, and it's
It's
I
weird.
love anything
Yeah.
that's practical.
It's almost weird because there's a weird parallel between these movies and something like Scott Pilgrim. It's the same idea
yeah.
of you have
rated
this
R,
very
yeah.
surreal fights that just happen, and it's just part of this one universe. And
Part of the world.
man, yeah, they just
Sucker
go,
Punch
it's-
tried it and failed.
Oh,
Yeah, well,
Hard.
We don't talk about that.
we do talk about it sometimes.
It's somebody's disowned child.
I don't know how this movie ends, though.
That's what I'm trying to remember. Yeah, I remember the endings for the first one pretty distinctly, but this
Does he
one,
fall out of another plane? Does he get hurt again?
does he go to space and
Does
fall
his head
back?
get
Earth?
chopped off? Does something? What was the ridiculous thing that happened? I'm guessing he gets his heart back.
I think he's got to get his heart back, and Dwight Yoakam's got to put it back in.
Sew him back up. Maybe it's
pretty-
a happy ending with a twist at the end of it or something.
I think I'm wondering too
couldn't
if they
tell you.
might twist it another way where they're he gets his heart back and gets it to Dwight, but Dwight's it's too late, it's been too long, and we can't put it back in you, and they're like, oh, we did it. No, it's too late. And then I'm sure something else happens. We're like, never mind, we'll take their heart. Put their heart in you. Or something.
Oh, I see.
It's got to be like that fake out. Like you thought they accomplished it, then they didn't. And then they'll do anyway.
It's like you've seen a movie before, Andy.
Ooh, maybe. I might have seen one or two.
Does she like
Crank 1 and Crank 2?
have sex with him just to keep him going during the surgery?
I mean, why not? Why not? Oh man, this is gonna be a good one.
I feel like
There we go.
So
talk about anything you forgot in Crank 1 or 2. Let's get it out there.
I know. What did we miss?
Oh man,
So many things, but the movie's so fast.
It's super
It's
fast.
just him
These are
running
like,
around,
what, 80, 90
like,
minutes.
I say we
each.
gotta like
POVs and
we gotta have a running tally. How many cars hit him?
it's a little like Run Lola Run, you know, where he's
Very
just like
much
constantly
so.
on the move.
Trying to think of things he does. Like at one point, I think he jumps off a bridge to try and get adrenaline. Like that's just one of those things. He just keeps looking for things that'll give him a rush. Mm-hmm. So he just keeps doing crazier and crazier stuff. To
Driving
get more
cars
adrenaline.
really fast.
And I'm sure part of the premise is they're like, but everything you do, like it's going to be less effective the next time. So you have to keep topping the last thing. So that's why it keeps progressively crazier throughout the movie.
Yeah, I feel like I'm just basically grabbing at
But
straws.
I do
here.
have a weird memory
rest
of
of
in
this.
number 2, specifically when he wakes up and has the battery box, and he calls the one guy.
Dwight Yoakam.
Yeah. And the guy's like, describe the box to me. He's like, it's yellow. Has the thing. He's like, oh yeah, that's the RS 4800. You've only got about 20 minutes left or something. Like he knows exactly what it is.
What you're gonna have to do is find a high voltage shot place.
You're gonna have
Isn't
to
there
find a
a-
crank to high voltage.
You're gonna have to whip your
And-
penis out and wrap it around that electric coil. He's like, oh, okay, I guess I'll
yeah.
do it.
Stick your dick in a light socket.
Yeah,
That'll probably happen.
might as well. I'm sure it's one of those. He looks at it and like you hear the zip, and then it's the outside the lights flickering.
Yeah, it's like
Oh man, but
All
we
the
do get
lights
the
go
car
out.
battery on the tongue.
Yeah.
We definitely get him grabbing a thing and just getting.
dude, like, and those shots
Exploded.
too are wild. I think they do like some weird stuff with his face.
Yeah, I
when
bet.
he gets like electrocuted.
There's a bunch of these where they do the they have that image stabilization effect put on where it's like when he's running and they lock it to his facial
Oh,
motion
'cause he's got the
and so you
camera
get
on
that
his
super
body.
surreal movement where his
The
face
Ghost
stays
Hunter
still.
camera, as I always like to think of it.
That definitely
I
have a
never
bunch of
liked
that.
those shots.
It looks good in
ever.
Crank.
I like them.
It
yeah,
works in
if
action
you use them
movies, for
right, they
sure.
look really cool. But yeah, it's when people try to use them for non-stylistic
Yeah.
things, and you're like, "Whoa, what the heck?"
Quicksilver in that
Yeah.
X-Men movie. It was like the last good time it was ever used.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that's definitely an action shot. It could work in action movies.
There's a lot of like shock paddles that he uses.
Yep. Oh,
Definitely
yeah.
defibs
himself.
He
Yep.
himself a
Yep.
bunch. And
I wonder if that's like he gets hit by a car and an ambulance comes to get him, and he just steals their defib, and that's how you.
Oh,
I
sure.
hope that's the case. Man,
Yeah, I feel like an ambulance does try to come get him, and he does. He's like, I gotta
Hijinks
go.
happen on the
I
ambulance.
can't be on here.
yeah, he's got like one motivation, and that's to like keep himself alive. He's doing it by any means necessary in any scene he's in.
Yeah, honestly, it's kind of like that would be a hard movie to write without just being like fantastical about it.
yeah.
You know, you kind of have to. You have to like just be like, okay, let's imagine that he's not going to die from all of these things, but he's got to do all these things.
It's pretty much just like creating great visuals and just like figuring out the story later. Let's
Right. You
Just shoot
just-
these really cool scenes.
You figure out the set
and
pieces
then, like,
you want, and
we'll
then
push
yeah,
it along
just-
with him like doing a revenge story.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
connect the dots later.
I can even see like writing this on the fly as you're shooting it too. Like,
yeah.
let's change this.
Okay, we
sequence
got
and
this
do this
location. What
instead.
can we do with this?
Yeah,
thing?
exactly.
Exactly.
I bet that's almost to me like how you'd have to, because you're right. It'd
probably
be
be
really
more
tough to
fun
write
that
it
way,
linearly
too.
versus like just like sitting around brainstorming just cool fight ideas and then just deciding where they fall in order and link them. And I think that's the way you got to do it. Yeah, like figure it out on the day even.
Because I think, like I said, I think this is shot like on really simple cameras. The quality's not as good, but it doesn't really matter because like the rest of it's put together so well.
Yeah, I can't wait to see like the stunt work involved in this. I bet it's just really crazy. There's got to be some really good behind the scenes.
He's got
stuff
there's some
about
good
the
making of.
Yeah,
good
I'm gonna have to
making
find
ofs.
that because this is gonna be a good one.
It's usually if the director's like on the side of a car, like on a rollerblade, like holding cameras, and like they're just like they put cameras in places that you just physically can't get to without like trying to risk your life to do it.
Yeah,
Right. It's all dangerous.
Or like you're gonna break a camera. You put a camera at the end of that.
Well, that's
truck
why I
and,
think
like,
that's
on a
why they
pole,
use really.
that thing's gonna get broken.
Yeah.
That's why they use like really cheap cameras because they knew that they if it got
Could
ruined,
break
it
'em.
didn't matter.
Well, Mad Max Fury Road
It
did
allowed
it too,
them
and
to
those cameras
do,
weren't
like,
cheap.
all those action shots.
I mean, Chris Nolan's crashing planes with
Oh
IMAX
yeah, I remember
cameras
that.
on them.
I remember that story. That was really funny. Like broke like a couple $1 million camera or whatever. Production insurance, cover it. There you go.
Right. They're like, oh, that was in a flood zone though.
Can't count.
Like what?
I love that you didn't know.
We made the flood zone. Joker was sinking the ship.
It's gasoline.
I do like going telling the studios like, just so that you guys are aware, I am going to be mounting some IMAX cameras to a vintage plane, and we're just going to crash it. Just going to happen.
We are going to ruin a camera for this shot. And I'm sure that
Or
happens in
like
Crank.
somebody called up Christopher Nolan like, hey, we just have to burn a couple million, so sink it.
Some money for
We need to
us.
burn a little. I'm not laundering it. We just need to burn it.
It is crazy. I mean, even in Tenet, they talk about like they were trying to plan out the scene where like the plane has to crash into a hangar, and they were like, "We're going to CG it, and we're budgeting it out." And then we realized it was cheaper to just buy an actual 747 and
break
crash it into a building. You're like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah, but is that the right thing to do?
I mean, it was
Well, nobody saw Tenet.
decomped plane.
so-
It wasn't like it was going to actually be a.
Is it good for the environment?
Nobody saw Tenet. Doesn't matter.
Who cares about the
Nobody
environment?
watched
There's
that
films
movie.
to make, Andy.
Oh,
You're not an artist.
People were trying to get people to go to the theaters like last September to see that film. People weren't going to do it. What are you talking about, Chris Nolan?
it didn't make any sense.
No.
It didn't make any sense. It was like, okay, I get it. It's a palindrome, but stop. Stop.
Race car. We get it. Race car.
Get it, race car.
Yeah,
It's fine. It's fine.
done. I figured it out.
Well, we're going to see what we got right, what we got wrong in Crank 1 and Crank 2 High Voltage.
Double feature.
Damn, double whammy.
The first ever double feature.
I'm
What,
gonna watch
remember?
it. I'm gonna actually watch it this time.
Oh, nice.
They're probably short.
Yeah. I'm gonna watch them.
Maybe you don't understand what just happened. I just fucking killed you. You try not to embarrass yourself. Candid camera. Oh, is this shit right here I gave you? This is some high-tech sci-fi Chinese synthetic bullshit. I don't know exactly what the fuck is in this shit, dude. All I know is that once this shit has binded with your blood cells, you fuck it, baby, and believe me, it's done binded. Yeah, you got yourself about an hour max.
Welcome back. Do you think I have written on my forehead podcast? We watched Crank and Crank High Voltage. High Voltage.
Oh
Did you watch both of the movies?
These,
That's the question.
yes.
These are
And
incredible movies.
Back-to-back movies.
Absolutely amazing.
I feel like you need to watch them back-to-back. I want them to
Yeah.
be... I wish they were edited into one film.
I'm sure there's
They
like
could be.
there's got to be like a 4-hour
Super
fan
Crank.
edit out there. Yeah, that
Could-
like.
I mean,
A Crank Yank.
one goes into the other.
right, you just put them in a
so
VLC playlist
easy.
together.
very linear.
But I think you could also combine scenes, I think.
Yeah, I think you could trim it. Yeah, I think the fan edit would be the way to go. I'm sure there's one where it's like one.
Well, how long
one.
was each movie?
Hour and 20 minutes, probably.
Not long.
Yeah, they're pretty short.
80 minutes.
Pretty short. I think you could watch the whole thing
Yeah.
all the way through.
Well, we did.
which I did, and it was awesome.
Yeah. As soon as one's over, to start the next one.
Yeah, exactly.
About 3 months passed between films, right?
3 years even between making this.
The
right?
making them.
Yeah, the making of, yes.
Good thing, Jason Statham's haircut never changes. hasn't
Pretty
changed.
easy.
Hasn't
It's
changed
pretty-
since the
just-
first film he's ever
Just
done.
very close.
That's true.
just cut very close, but some hair, a little bit
Just
of
a
hair,
little bit.
So we got a lot right in this film. There's not a lot of story.
No.
There's just set pieces and sweet action
And
scenes.
it's easy. Like I watched these literally a few hours ago, and I'm already mixing up the movies again in my head. Like it just happens.
If it's crazy, it's number 2.
I don't know. There's some crazy stuff in one.
If it's wild, it's 1.
I couldn't believe how fast one. Like I remember one. I
Two
feel
is
like ramping
crazy,
up, but he like drives a car into the mall in like 15 minutes
Yeah.
into the number one.
He Blues Brothers that thing.
He Blues Brothers up and then he gets stuck on an escalator. It was amazing. And I was like, we just started this movie.
And there's something novel about like the terrible green screen of the car and him like walking up it. Like
bad.
I like it. I
it
thought
looked
it was
good.
like
It was-
stylized.
It is. The whole movie is kind of made in
Yeah.
a way that makes sense in the universe.
Even when he's like
You're
falling out of
not
the
bothered
plane.
by it because of everything else that happens. There's so
I don't
much.
care. I don't care.
I kind of forgot about this thing in like the mid 2000s movies where everything is overly saturated in certain scenes, like the colors like just so like blown out. They really use that like hardcore in the first one.
Crank that
Not so
digital
much in the
contrast way
second
up.
one at all.
They had probably better
Yeah.
cameras in the second one. 3 years probably made a big difference.
I almost felt like they had worse cameras in the second one.
Maybe that's true.
I think they had worse cameras because they had pretty good shots in the first
I
one.
looked it up. You can buy the Crank 1 camera for $350 on eBay, and you could make Crank. It's a mini DV camera.
I told you.
Oh man.
there were plenty of shots that were higher definition though that looked really nice, but all the action shots of him running and stuff, you use a cheap camera. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
There were at least 30 cameras like on set at any given time.
It almost adds to like the authenticity of like the urgency of those shots because they're a little grainy, they're kind of rough, and they feel right for Chev Chelios just bolting through a city. Like I love
Yeah.
it. I love it.
Yeah.
There's so many also like just small shots that I really appreciate. Like
Inserts,
when,
random, like,
yeah,
inserts
like
and
when
things.
he's in the car and he calls the Pedro from Napoleon Dynamite to get like some information. And first of all, I appreciate that he calls him once and the call drops. Like
that happens in real life.
I know that's a thing, and they wrote it into the film, and that's great.
He also calls his girlfriend, and it goes straight to voicemail.
Yeah, and like,
thing that happens.
but then when he finally gets him the second time, there's like, well, actually, when the call drops, like, there's the insert of Pedro talking on the other end, but it's in the side view mirror of the car, and the call drops and just vanishes from the mirror, and I was like,
Oh.
what a great little bit! Like, oh, we'll put the other end of the phone right there for this.
pretty creative.
And there's some really creative use of just sticking shots together, and I don't know, man, it's fantastic.
That actor has a twin. He has a twin
He has
brother.
an identical
kidding.
twin.
He has
yeah.
a legitimate twin brother.
Well, that's how they were able
cool.
to shoot that scene in
Yeah,
the
where he's
second
dancing
movie
with
where he's
himself.
dancing with.
Oh,
Yeah. And I love that they use the real life thing to be like, okay, we can have a second version of him because he does have a twin, and we can just show a quick scene of him having a twin.
Yeah. But I think it is the same actor in both
Yes.
films, right?
Yeah, because the other guy I don't think is an actor.
Yeah, I thought Corey Haim was in it more. There's a few other cameos in the second film. but
Hold on, Corey Haim? Who's?
he's
Wait,
the-
what part
he's
was
the-
he?
He's the strip owner. He owns the strip club.
Yeah.
He has the mullet.
Oh my god, I didn't even know that was I didn't even know. Now I need to go back and look at this again. I literally didn't even, I just thought it was just some,
No,
like, I thought it might have been the director or
This
something.
was his last film. And then David Carradine, also one of his last films.
Yep.
Doing a very questionable performance.
He's doing it, though. So is it okay?
He's playing Lopan as a white guy. That's not appropriate in 2021. You can't play Asian
So he's
as
like,
a white
is
guy.
he the leader of whatever the Asian gang is? And then he like gets caught up with Dwight Yoakam's secretary lady, and then he ends up just getting killed or something. They trick him into they give him
Was
the
David Carradine in the first one or the second?
just the second one.
Yeah, just
he gets
the
the Chinese
second.
cocktail. I think like Dwight Yoakam gives it to him. It's like a revenge thing. They
kill
give
him.
they give him a villain for whatever reason.
There's a lot to talk about.
Yeah, we can clarify.
talking.
Let's clarify the plot. So the first one is poison.
Poison.
He
Yes.
gets the Chinese shit.
Yes.
Is what they
They
call
say it-
it.
they say it several
and
times.
it blocks his adrenaline, I guess, which is we got there eventually in part one of this.
It opens with a very piece of clever exposition where he's watching himself sleeping or like knocked out,
Yeah.
and then giving them the virus and learning about it.
Yeah, so he gets injected by like basically the new hitman on the block. He's a hitman for the mafia.
Yes.
This like various gangs in the area. And
He ends up not doing a hit, right?
Right.
gets
That's
him-
what started
yes,
all of it off.
no. So what him doing a hit is what starts the whole problem, but he didn't do the hit, which is what saves him later.
Yes.
Yes. Because those people help him at the end of the first film.
So he was hired by one of the Dons to kill one of the other Dons. and instead told the other Don, hey, lay low for 36 hours. Mm-hmm. And apparently that was perfect and the best decision he ever made, because he needed that dude's help later.
Why lay low for 36 hours, though? I never understood that.
I'm not sure what caused him to ask it. I don't remember what prompted him to ask the other dude to do that instead of just, unless he suspected that he was being set up, because the whole idea was that that the one Don could then use this new hitman to kill Chev Chelios as like, oh, see, now we're even. No one needs to be mad at me for whacking the Don. It was Chev, my boy Chev Chelios.
A Mexican cartel,
Yeah.
and then a
triad,
a Chinese triad.
Okay.
Cartel, right? And then in the second movie, there's another triad.
It's a different triad group and a different Mexican cartel,
okay.
I think. And they flip places, sort of, where he's like getting help from the Mexican cartel this time to fight the triad group, because the triad group. So
those are the ones that stole his heart in the second one.
Right.
Which, given the events of the first movie, what a horrible choice. They're like, the Don of this triad group was dying and needed a new heart, and then we chose Chev Chelios's. I was like, he was shooting all of the chemicals and everything into his heart in movie one. That heart had like 10 minutes left.
To be fair, Andy, he was also going to steal his penis.
Well, yeah.
and his kidneys.
Oh, yeah.
And
Kidneys, I don't know about,
that,
but
that scene was kind of goofy because he's just like kind of out of it, loopy, and then you realize that like, and it's even like through subtitles too. So it's like, how is he even knowing what they're talking about? But they say that they're going to take his junk, and he just wakes up and he's like, this.
take my heart, sure. Take my junk, nah.
Yeah,
I'm getting up for this one.
Man, this is so good. The subtitles, the use of like the text on screen throughout, at least the first one and the second one is really fun. They throw up like definitions or just names. They'll just do stylized text flies across, and that's, man, I don't know.
Yeah, because they do a lot of Cockney slang in the second one that they didn't do in the first one, and they have to like use the subtitles to help it make sense.
Yeah.
Like, so he says like, "Who has my strawberry tart?" But he means his heart. I don't understand the whole Cockney slang thing.
Oh man!
But it's a thing. It's used a couple times.
And everything that Bei Ling says has to be translated because no one understands what she's saying.
Yeah, I couldn't tell. Like, is she from other stuff?
Yeah,
she's in Wild Wild West.
She's in so many films.
She's in Wild Wild West.
Yeah. I bet she has like 50 acting credits.
She's in a bunch of stuff. Yeah, she was huge.
So is she playing a character? Or is this is not what she sounds like, right?
Somewhat.
I don't know.
Somewhat.
Her top 4 movies on IMDb are The Red Corner, which I've never seen, but it's got Richard Gere in it. The Crow, the original The Crow. This movie, and then Wild Wild West.
Huh. I don't remember in Wild Wild West. It's been so long since I've even seen that.
She's like what? She's like the
sometime.
Yeah, the head of Loveless's
28
evil ladies
credits.
She's done a lot of stuff.
Yeah. She worked. She works probably still.
And she's running and jumping and trying to bang Chev this whole movie.
In the second one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then she gets lit on fire by the end of it.
Oh man, I forgot about that ending. I remember that. That's nuts.
That's her fate.
They even set up the possibility it was the same ending.
Crank 3, baby. Bring it on.
They set up a Crank 3
Let's
ending.
do it.
I am still waiting.
I'm here for
Everyone's
it.
still waiting.
I think it's going to happen.
I was scrolling through the wiki for Crank being like, is there talks about 3? Like,
nothing.
I'm in.
I don't think
I
those two
didn't see
directors
it.
like working with each other anymore.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they had like a falling out. But I'd be just projecting.
I'm sure you
They
can
haven't done
find
stuff
somebody
before.
that's willing to like work with one of them.
who's willing to crank it up again for Crank
Hey.
3.
Oh yeah.
There's so many good titles you could do. Just like crank it to 11.
And cameras have gotten so cheap now. You can get,
yeah.
you can get smash all sorts of 4K cameras and have great picture.
Yeah.
Sweet action.
And
scenes.
like, and
the
the
movie
crazy,
writes itself.
And action movies are back in. We're in the John Wick era, where giving just stunt coordinators a movie to go and do is the thing now. This is a perfect candidate. Go nuts.
maybe they're waiting for the next Grand Theft Auto so they can tie it.
That
in.
could be.
Because this movie is just Grand Theft
It is
Auto.
absolutely
the movie,
a
right?
Grand Theft Auto
It's
movie.
like fully inspired by.
Well, yeah.
There's even scenes of him like going in and out of like stores, like pulling people out of cars.
Yeah. We won't get another Grand Theft Auto until they're done making Grand Theft Auto 5.
They keep making that
Well,
game.
they got what 10 more years on that one.
Every
Yeah.
expansion. This is another expansion for Grand Theft Auto 5.
It's so ridiculous at this point.
It's like the
Who's paying attention anymore?
It's like The Sims. There's just too many Sims 4 expansions. Just
Yeah.
give me Sims
Man.
5.
That's hard to end
the
that one
money's
though.
not
It's
in
like
making a new
I would
game,
say
it's
it's
just
like
upgrading
the
the old
highest
one.
grossing game of all time. It's like they have no incentive to
yeah.
not keep just going with it.
Do a Crank DLC for Grand Theft Auto 5.
You easily could.
Have Jason Statham come in and do some voice acting. Or just use lines from the film.
Yeah,
Does it be fun?
it would be fun.
That'd be really fun. Do a top-down version like the old Grand Theft Auto.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
That would match the style of the video game aspects of the second one.
There are a lot of video game references and things that happen in the a lot of the sound effects.
Yep.
Yep.
I think the movie even opens up with like a video game sound effect.
Well, and it
right?
ends with a game over.
Oh yeah.
At the end of the credits is a game over screen. Crank 1 we had pretty good in part 1. Crank 2 was fuzzier.
Yes. We missed the whole like Chev Chelio's talk show thing
When he's a little kid.
when he's a
Oh.
little kid. That was in the second one. So it's like the fuck you Chelios show.
And Ginger Spice is in that scene. Jerry Halliwell.
I didn't even realize that, but
Another cameo.
that's the mom.
Yeah.
The head is in 2. We thought it might be in the first one.
The disembodied
The
head.
head
Head,
in
that's just
it's it
floating
is
in
the,
the jar.
head of the hitman he kills in 1 is kept alive by
Oh,
his
yes.
brother,
Or
by
somebody?
by the third brother, because he kills the hitman and his brother
right.
in number 1, and then there's a third
his
brother that
handout.
also happens to be another Don in number 2. And has kept that brother's head alive so that he can see them
Chev
kill
guy, yeah.
Chev.
Which does not work.
Nope, he kills him a second time. Kill him twice.
He's kind of like that. What is it? The Krang or something? The thing
Oh,
from the Teenage Mutant Ninja
Krang.
Turtle. Krang. Yeah.
Kind of. Oh boy. So yeah, in the number 2, they've stolen his heart. So one of the other triad leaders is like, I want Chev's parts.
And from the sounds of it, this sounds like this movie stole your heart too.
Absolutely.
some way.
They put a pacemaker in there, and then he's got like
a plastic heart, which
It's
is
a
a
fake
real
heart.
thing that you do.
yeah.
Yep.
To like when you're waiting for a transplant, but it's not powered by an external battery.
Yes. Well, so
everything is internal.
Yeah, but I love.
Of course,
I
it's
like
got an
that
internal
they had
battery,
the
too.
external battery
Yeah.
because it helped you to understand like a video game his life meter.
yes,
Yeah.
it's so good.
Yeah, it was like when he got into that accident where he smashed the car into the pole.
Yeah.
and he flew out the window.
It was really funny. He just
the whole
wasn't watching
thing.
where he was going.
I loved how he was like after he realized like he had broken the machine, he was just like fiddling and pulling all the wires and everything apart.
There's so many great crashes in both. Like in Crank 1 when he steals a cop's motorcycle, and then he's just like he's zoning out while he's driving it, so then he starts like standing on it and then just crashes into a restaurant. Like an outdoor patio of a restaurant. Crashes into it, lands, wakes up after an undetermined amount of time. There's a hilarious couple still sitting at a table while everyone else is freaking out.
Yep.
And like he has a call, gets up, just gets back on the bike and drives away again. And I was like, there was no consequences to this crash.
Yeah, nobody
It was
made a phone
hilarious.
call to the police.
It was so funny.
He does get hurt because he has to put nails in his leg.
Yes, I didn't
Like,
understand that. Like
yeah,
he's
and then he's in the doctor's office the next scene. So I was like, why'd you put those nails in your
and
leg?
he like stumbles into this hardware store, and then his girlfriend comes in after him, and he has like 10 nails that he's hammering into his leg, and he's like, I can't feel my leg, and I was like, it took you 10 nails to figure that out? Why your leg's a pincushion? What are you doing?
I thought he was making a baseball bat.
That's
with,
what
like,
I thought
nails
too,
in
but it was
it.
his
Yeah.
leg.
I was like, oh,
Why did he do that?
I have no idea, because the very next scene he's in the doctor's office. The doctor's like, all right, I'll fix you up as best I can.
and he ends up fixing his leg,
Moves,
yeah.
just moves on. I don't know what that was
it a-
about.
Maybe a cut scene or I don't know.
Well, there were a bunch of scenes where he was just purposely hurting himself to pick up his adrenaline.
Was that
Maybe
Right, that
that's
might have just
part
been
of
what
it,
he was
yeah.
doing,
One of
but
the
it
scenes
doesn't.
could be.
But
I
it
guess
feels
so.
confusing.
Because he does the
because it
waffle
doesn't
iron.
make
Yeah, he
sense.
puts his hand in a
Yeah.
waffle iron.
Yep.
I forgot about that. I don't think we mentioned that in part 1.
Yeah, because so he finally shows up at his girlfriend's house,
And they aren't broken up. We thought they would split up in this movie. But it sounds like they're still together. He just couldn't reach her in the beginning of the day. And so he
Oh,
shows
yeah.
up later. She's like,
Yeah.
oh, hey, what's up?
Yeah, she was taking a nap the entire time.
Yep.
But then like she's just like trying to figure out how to set the clock on her microwave, which I thought was a cool shot.
She's
like
just
inside the
mundane
microwave.
things.
Yeah,
Like, she's just an NPC.
it's
It was
such
a good.
great-
It was a good like counterbalance.
There's a great change of pace there. Yeah, when he starts, she's doing things and he's still trying to be extreme. Or like when they go to leave and the another hitman shows up to get him and he like spills her purse so that she crouches down while he fights a guy behind her and she has no idea.
Those scenes were
It's
great.
a great change of pace in the film. Like what a good use of just.
She's like, oh, I gotta go back and
flipping
get
it
my
up.
key, and then like somebody calls, and then he's just like, oh, I gotta take care of this.
Yeah, it's so good.
He runs over and just like punches the guy who's on the phone like right in the face.
Yes.
And Crank 1 ends with him giving a phone call to her. His last set. Like,
I love that shot
voices
because
were
it was
there.
so kind of fake,
Yeah.
but like
oh yeah.
I loved it because it just felt like he was falling forever
Yeah,
and
it fits
ever.
the aesthetic of the movie exactly.
It
Yeah,
was like-
it's really good.
Because he was so like just like still in the shot. I don't know. It was kind of cool.
I loved it.
I
It's
loved
so
it
good.
a lot. But I felt like Crank 2 was more lovable for me at least.
You think so?
I was way into Crank 2 compared to 1.
I think I like
One is
one
great.
more
I like
myself.
one more.
One is
yeah.
great,
But
but
then
I
One's actions maybe a little more better for me. But 2 has bigger set pieces and things.
Yes,
Yeah.
it does.
they go like more out
Because they can't.
get silly.
Otherwise, they don't want to redo what they already did.
Yeah,
wanna
they had a top
do
number
a new-
one, so
yeah.
they really.
try a new thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I do like just like the hand-to-hand combat and fighting and stuff that happens in the first movie and the gunplay.
Yeah, I mean, like, it felt like in Crank 1, they threw everything, you know, at the wall to see what's stuck. And then, like, 2, they realized they didn't actually do everything they could have done.
They do one really weird thing in the first movie where he's in an elevator going up to fight the final
right at
boss.
the end.
And there's just another Asian businessman who's like doing all the voices that he's like been hearing through the like it plays his mom and he even like plays himself and it's like sometimes that actor's voice and just sometimes just straight up voiceover.
Yeah.
And you're just dealing with like his internal like monologues going through his
Bunch
head.
of conversations with
Through this
himself,
other
basically.
person.
Yeah.
It was a good way to kind of, like, reflect on everything that's happened up to that point.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
slowed it down.
And it played into, like, the element of, like, he's so drugged up that it's hard to tell what's, like, real and fake.
Yep.
So it really worked in that scene.
And you do think for a moment that he is out of his mind when he like pulls a gun and it's just his finger.
That's
like
that. I
everyone
can't believe I
It
forgot
was
that bit. That's such a good bit. Like when
was
they all
so
kind of
good.
laugh and then he like moves to the other guy and they're like, ooh. Like they're like,
shoots.
he's crazy, right? Like, but at the same time they're like, he is crazy though. Maybe this is
Maybe
the
this
thing.
is his thing.
Oh, that's so good.
So good. That shot was
sniper-
great.
I
That was
love
the
it.
first one, right?
Yeah.
Very end of
Yeah.
the first film.
That was good. The first one's really good. I'm just saying I like the second one more. Doesn't mean I don't like the first one at all.
And, same way for me. Like I love number 2 is still great. I just enjoyed I think 1 a little bit more. But man, what a pair of movies. I still don't understand how these got made.
Cheap enough. And,
So,
you know,
yeah.
Yeah.
Jason Statham doing his own stunts probably saved a ton of money.
Well, the second one definitely got made because of the first one. Like,
Yeah,
you could
there
see
was so
all
much
of those
fake-
extras in there.
They were showing. I actually saw a comparison of the budgets between Crank and Hardcore Henry, and I think Crank was like 10 mil. So yeah, super cheap to make this movie. Hardcore Henry only cost like 2 mil to make, so it's even like that one even was even less.
So
So,
even maybe if they make Crank 3, they don't need that much money to make it.
you'd think so. I don't know. How much are you going to pay Statham to come back again now that he's
You could probably get
20
a
years
new
older?
protagonist. Get one of those Hollywood stuntmen from Corridor Crew.
Make Chev Chelios. Ooh, that's a good call. But yeah, make Chev Chelios one of the new Dons now, and he's the one trying to kill.
Oh, he's the big
new
bad
Chev
at the end of
Chelios.
the
Yeah, like that'd be fun.
This is probably why they're not making it. It's probably exactly why they're not making it.
Anything else you want to talk about with Crank? Crank 2?
I mean, I feel like we didn't touch
There were a
on
lot
Crank
of
2 a whole
sex
lot.
scenes. I don't know how I felt about Amy Smart having to do all that.
It was a
She
stand-in.
seemed to be okay with it.
She had a stand-in.
You should have, she did have a body double.
She had a body double
Okay.
for both films.
Okay, that's good to know.
And I did read a quote from the body double of that Statham was really good to work with. Like they were like he genuinely made her feel very comfortable about doing ridiculous scenes.
Yeah, I mean they were out there.
Oh yeah,
They were going for it.
Did you guys stick around to watch the behind the scenes stuff in the second? They were really slow, but there were a couple that were pretty good.
I need to watch those.
Like the old lady at the horse track. there's a scene where he's like rubbing up against her and it looks like he's having sex from behind. And after a little bit, she's like, I think I've had it this way before. Statham just like falls out.
He's just trying to get like static electricity to work for him. He's rubbing it against wherever he can.
Yeah.
Yeah, to get his heart going, which I thought was like, that's not going to work.
You're like, wait a minute. I was like, the static electricity by two bodies rubbing versus like when he grabs for a transformer.
Well, that's the end of that film.
He actually like grabbed that.
He grabs
too.
it and gets lit on fire.
We do need to talk about that because that is a great bit when he grabs it. Yeah, he gets blasted back, but he's just on fire.
Do you see like in the background? You see like him like flying across the screen.
Yep.
Like it's just in this like little speck of person.
And then he thinks that Beiling is Amy Smart, and so he like makes out with her, which catches her on fire. So she's just on fire, dying.
Yep.
I'm like, what a great ending.
But then he opened his eyes, right? Or he blinked.
Yes, because the doctor puts his heart back, I think. They never addressed, did they actually say that they cured the Chinese stuff from the first one, or did they not address it?
Oh, because there's the after credits where they're showing him in the hospital all bandaged up. Mm-hmm. And he's like black, like around his eyes or whatever.
Yeah.
Showing that he's all burned.
The doctor, yeah, right. The doctor basically had
that.
fixed him all up after the end of the second one. So he does the same eye blink bit.
I think he can just survive the Chinese cocktail.
I
think he's
he's like Jason.
to do it.
He's like Jason Voorhees.
I thought you meant Statham.
Yeah, Jason Statham.
He's like Jason Voorhees.
I do like that. Every time he keeps showing up, at least in the first one, everyone keeps being like, "How are you still alive?" Like the guy, the one who's like, "We give that shit to horses." He's like, "You should have been dead hours ago." It's like
pure revenge.
Sorry. Yep. Oh man.
I think that's all I got to say.
Yeah, what a great set of movies. Everyone should go out and watch these again. Just do it.
I think they were definitely like a highlight in like the late 2000s of not necessarily a cult movie, but it's a movie like that you heard from word of mouth. You got with a bunch of friends to like see this film. You just,
I don't think I even remember the first one coming out, but a friend of mine showed it to me, and then
it's a movie
we went and saw, 3 years later, we went and saw the second one in theaters, and it was so much fun.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us on that movie and every movie that you do. In the next episode, we're doing a movie that has a tagline. Bernie Lomax would be the perfect host, except for one small thing. He's dead. We remember Weekend at Bernie's.
It appears as if somebody's trying to defraud the company.
Somebody tried to smoke it past the wrong guy.
Very, very good work. How would you two like to come to my house at the beach?
Love to!
For Larry and Richard,
How are you?
this is a place to die for.
You have to kill them, Vito.
A little rusty, but it'll come back to me.
What, should we just walk in?
But what they don't realize
No, we'll stand out here all weekend. Come on, we're house guests.
is while they're checking in,
Forget the accident with the two guys. Take care of Lomax.
Bernie Lomax will be checking out.
Oh my God! What kind of a host invites you to his house for the weekend and dies on you?
I don't know.
Lomax told whoever he's talking to not to kill us if he's around, right?
Yeah, but Lomax is dead. He's not around anybody anymore.
I know that. You know that. Nobody else knows that. Huh?
Oh! Where's Bernie? It looks good enough. Let's go.
Uh-oh. Larry, what? Huh?
Really?
Hi, Bernie. Hey, Bernie, just like last week, huh?
Oh, Bernie, you animal, you are insatiable.
Doesn't anyone realize he's dead?
Roll the boat!
Got it? On the boat!
Vito, I'm telling you, Lomax is alive. Maybe Paulie is rustier than we thought.
Ooh, Bernie, you're starting to peel. Want to get you out of the sun, huh?
Oh, is that the killer?
How do I know, Richard? Should I stop and ask you?
No, just drive.
Serpentine! You hear something? What is that? It's just Bernie.
Weekend at Bernie's.
Are we doing it again today?
Oh, absolutely. You know we are.
Great, we'll see you later, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, ladies. We'll see you later. God
what? Was this great or what?